Hello students, welcome to lecture 1 of topic 19, Globalization, International Trade and Economic Cooperation. This is what we call a lecture summary video. The purpose of a lecture summary video is to show you the coverage of this lecture, as well as the flow of the lecture, and finally, what are the key concepts and economic analysis to focus on for this lecture. Let's begin. In the first lecture of this topic, we will cover what is globalization and what are the causes of globalization. As you can see on the slides, the relevant pages are pages 1 to 20. Now, let me share with you the flow of lecture 1 for topic 19, globalization. First, we begin by watching this lecture summary video. What is the purpose of this lecture summary video? It is for you to get an idea of what is the coverage of this lecture and what are the key concepts and economic analysis that are important. And with that pointers, you can read the lecture notes from page 1 to 20 and make sure that you use the key concepts and key economic analysis to guide you to highlight the key points in your lecture notes. Hopefully, that will make your learning more efficient. And after reading the lecture notes, if you feel like you would like to have a deeper understanding of what the notes is all about, we have two optional videos with an explanation with examples. The two optional videos, first one is video 1A, which is on the definition and reasons for globalization. Video 1B is on the theory of comparative advantage. Lastly, you will proceed to test yourself with some quiz questions on the Google form. Last but not least, you can post any remaining questions you have via the Google form. In lecture 1, there are two key segments. One is the definition of globalization. Second is the reasons for globalization. Now, we will share with you what are the key economic concepts and economic analysis to take note of under the definition of globalization. This is the definition of globalization. And how do we see this increasing interconnectedness between global economies? There are three observable areas. First is the increase in trade. Second is the increase in capital flows. Third is the increase in labor flows. Now, in your lecture notes, you will see that under the definition of globalization, there's a table that serves to organize the three flows to give you more clarity. First, for increased trade flows, we have two main flows. One is export of goods and services. The other one is imports of goods and services. You may think, why is exports of goods and services considered an inflow? This is because when we export goods and services to other countries, we are selling them and we are earning export revenue. Under the balance of trade account, which is within our current account of the BOP, we will record it as a credit item. Now, in contrast, for imports, we are buying from foreign countries. So, under the balance of trade account, it will be recorded as a debit. Hence, it is called outflow. Now, next, we have increased capital flows. There are two main types of capital flows as well. One is long-term capital flow, which is what we know as foreign direct investments. The other one is short-term capital flow, which you already know it as hot money. Both capital flows have both inflow and outflow. For example, FDI, we have inflow of FDI when foreign firms come into Singapore to set up businesses. And also, we know that Singaporean firms also venture globally. So that's considered an outflow. Last but not least, we've had increased labor flows. So in labor flow, we want to take note there are two types of labor. One is foreign talents, who are highly skilled, highly educated. The other one is foreign workers, which have fewer skills. And in both cases, we can have inflow and outflow. For example, we have inflow of foreign workers who help us with the construction of our MRT as mentioned earlier. We can also have outflow of foreign talents when you see Singaporeans being hired by international companies overseas and being posted overseas. So hopefully this table help you organize what is globalization. Now, while the definition of globalization may be simple and straightforward, there are two skills that might be useful for you to tackle any possible questions that could be expanded on this simple definition. Firstly, it is important for you to recall the past knowledge on export, import, FDI, hot money, and labor. This is because these components can affect your macro objectives. For example, X, M, and FDI, we all know are components of AD. And when AD changes, it can affect your macro objectives, such as economic growth through RNY and price stability through GPL. Second, it is important to apply data skills. They might ask you to make observations about these three flows. So, if you recall, you have learned about how to compare whether the data shows the absolute value or whether the data shows the percentage change of exports or the data presented exports as a percentage of GDP to compare across countries. Hopefully, this helps you to tackle the exam questions. Next, we'll share with you the key concepts and economic analysis to take note of for the second segment of the lecture, which are reasons for globalization. These are the three main reasons for globalization. First, it is the benefits of free trade and specialization based on the theory of comparative advantage. As mentioned, this is an important theory that you need to master, and it will be explained in detail under section 2.2 of the lecture notes. In addition, we also have an optional video 1B for you to watch so that you can further understand this theory of comparative advantage through the use of an example. Next, it is technology improvements in transportation and communication. Last but not least, it is also government policies that are taken to promote economic cooperation, to promote trade, promote capital flow, and promote labor mobility. Please add a note to your notes that this is actually explained under section 3.1 under the trade policies, meaning it will be covered in lecture 3 of this topic. Now, for the three reasons for globalization, it is useful for you to take note that some are relatively easy for you to master in an instant, while others may take you more time to understand them. For example, reason 2, technology improvements in transportation and communication. We often say that this is the easiest reason to understand because the explanation are mostly in prose and there's no graph within the explanation. In contrast, under the third reason, government policies that promote globalization, we say that it is moderate because you need to be able to explain the logic and you also need a graphical analysis. The good news is, as shared before, the graph is based on DDSS model and so it's something that you have learned before. Last but not least, we told you to pay attention to the theory of comparative advantage. It will take you a bit more time to master it because there are two types of explanation. One is the detailed explanation to help you to gain a deeper understanding using numerical examples and using the PPC graph. However, we also provide you a succinct explanation for you to use under exam purposes. This is because the numerical illustrations are not required in the exams. Now, we can share with you the key economic analysis that can help us explain why the three reasons led to globalization. Hopefully, with these pointers, as you read your lecture notes, you can highlight the important points. Let's begin with the easier explanation, which is technology improvements in transportation and communication led to globalization. The two key impacts of such technology improvements is that it helps to increase efficiency and reduce costs. On the other hand, it also expands access to global markets and increase revenue. How do this help to promote globalization? For export and imports, we are looking at lower prices that help to promote exports and imports. And for FDI, foreign direct investments, we are looking at how this impact their profit and incentivize firms to invest globally. Last but not least, the technology that reduce cost actually promotes labor mobility as it helps to reduce geographical immobility. Now, we will share with you the key economic analysis to take note of when we are explaining how government policies promote economic cooperation and hence led to globalization. Please note that in this section of the lecture notes, you will be given a brief explanation and you will learn more details under section 3.1 under trade policies, which is covered in lecture 3. Okay. Now, how does government free trade policies generally help to promote globalization? There are three areas that these free trade policies aim to do. First is lower trade barriers. Trade barriers can be tariff and non-tariff trade barriers. So as you lower trade barriers, it will help to lower the prices of export and imports and hence promoting the sales of export and imports. At the same time, it can generate higher profit for firms, and that promotes or incentivizes firms to invest globally, hence increasing foreign direct investments. At the same time, in the free trade policies, some of it may include a discussion on how to lower capital control, which is the amount of financial capital you can bring across borders. So with less capital control, that can promote foreign direct investments as well. Another discussion could be how to reduce regulations on labor control. So as regulations are lowered, that can make it easier for foreign workers and foreign talents to move across borders as well. We will share with you the key economic analysis that can help you explain how the theory of comparative advantage led to globalization. Hopefully, this can help you master this. Now, we will share with you the key economic analysis for the explanation of how the theory of comparative advantage led to globalization. Hopefully, this helps you master both the detailed explanation and as well as the succinct explanation. Now, in order to master the theory of comparative advantage, you need to spend some time to recall the concepts of PPC and opportunity cost. That is from your microeconomics, your first topic in JC1. Second, for a deep understanding, please read section 2.2.1 for the detailed explanation of the theory of comparative advantage using numerical and diagrammatic illustrations. Following that, you can read the subsection after section 2.2.1, whereby it is titled Connect, Extend and Challenge. This subsection will help you distill from the detailed explanation and derive a succinct explanation for exam use. I hope that by sharing the key economic analysis for each of the reasons, it can help you identify the key points from your lecture notes. We have finished the summary video for lecture 1. I hope you get an idea of what this lecture is all about and to know what is important. Please continue with the Google form to follow through steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Enjoy your learning.